We're now joined by Mr. Isaac Six from the State Department's International Religious Freedom Office, who's just going to join us. And please give a big hand to Mr. Isaac.
Well, thank you, everyone. I'm very grateful to be here. I've attended the conference over many years, usually as a representative of civil society. But today I am joining you representing the administration and the U.S. Department of State. I'm also filling in for a colleague, Mariah Mercer, who's our acting director of the office. Unfortunately, she had to step out last minute, couldn't be here today, so I'm happy to pick up here and deliver remarks from the administration. I serve as a senior advisor in the Office of International Religious Freedom at the U.S. Department of State. On behalf of the Department of State, I want to thank Coptic Solidarity for hosting such an important conversation, and for all of your hard work to protect and promote religious freedom in Egypt. Just a week ago, on Global Coptic Day, President Trump celebrated the enduring faith, time-honored traditions, and remarkable resilience of the Coptic Orthodox Church, with a message that recognized the long history of persecution Coptic Christians have faced and the United States' firm commitment to religious freedom throughout the world. I'm here today to talk about how the State Department supports these efforts. As America celebrates 250 years, we reflect on the values that have shaped our nation. Our founders upheld religious freedom as an unalienable right, a right that no government can take away and every government must protect. When the founders declared religious freedom as America's first freedom, they implicitly recognized that when governments fail to protect religious freedom as a right by nature, that freedom of speech, expression, and assembly also crumble. Today, the administration is a strong champion of religious freedom at home and abroad. As President Trump said on Religious Freedom Day earlier this year, every person is born with the God-given right to practice their faith, follow their conscience, and worship their God freely and without fear. We work with partners who share our values and goals and ensure that their laws contribute to a free system that is open to the American people. Countries with strong human rights protections typically attract more foreign investment, which fosters innovation and promotes economic development. They have judicial and legal systems that treat these investors as well as their own people more fairly. Credible research shows governments that effectively safeguard religious freedom are more stable and economically vibrant. The administration has demonstrated its commitment to protecting religious freedom globally through decisive action. For example, Secretary Rubio announced a new visa restriction policy in December 2025 that prevents individuals responsible for severe religious freedom violations from coming to the United States. At the United Nations last fall, the President made it clear that protecting religious liberty is a core tenet of our foreign policy and a top priority, and he specifically emphasized the need to do more to protect Christians. The Office of International Religious Freedom, the office I work in, monitors violations of religious freedom worldwide, including Egypt, and then recommends policy changes to improve conditions for people of all faiths. In Egypt, we spend significant time reporting on the discrimination against Christians and other religious communities. Christian rights in Egypt have come a long way over the past 15 years. Under the Muslim Brotherhood-led government, Christians in Egypt suffered church bombings, communal violence, and pervasive discrimination. We appreciate the efforts the LCC government has made since those days to better protect Christians and allow their freedom to worship. At the same time, to be a Christian in Egypt is still not always easy. Discrimination against them abides across society. Churches struggle to gain administrative licensure for operations, maintenance, and new construction. For those who convert to Christianity, it is very difficult to update the faith section of official identification documents, not to mention the social ostracization and family rejection levied against those who convert. To be a Christian in Egypt comes with risk. Authorities also disproportionately enforce blasphemy laws against Christians, and law enforcement often levy fines and imprisonment without legal due process. Accusations of insulting religion often result in unlawful detentions. While we remain committed to addressing these religious freedom violations, we also recognize how the government of Egypt has taken the State Department's recommendations seriously. The situation for Copts in Egypt, while far from ideal, is improving, enabling many to remain in their ancestral homelands. We encourage Egypt to continue making changes in its religious freedom environment and to ensure officials implement laws protecting religious freedom rights equitably for all. In October 2025, the Prime Minister presided over a meeting of the Committee for Legalizing the Status of Churches, where officials announced the government had approved 160 churches and church-affiliated buildings for licensing. Media reports indicate that most churches that applied for registration have been approved since the 2016 church construction law came into effect. This is progress, and we look forward to visiting the churches that have been approved. That said, we hear from civil society representatives and Coptic clergy that inconsistent zoning requirements and opaque building regulations continue to slow the approvals process. For example, a damaged evangelical church in Minya could not resume construction until late 2025 after a year-long security review and significant embassy advocacy. These are exactly the kind of bureaucratic delays that plague other rural and even urban church projects and impede Christians' ability to freely worship. Other issues remain unresolved, and local resistance, at times tolerated by the authorities, continue to delay or obstruct approvals. Observers have noted that churches in newly developed, less densely populated areas, such as the new administrative capital, have generally faced fewer administrative hurdles than those in more crowded regions, particularly in Upper Egypt, where the absence of a church is felt most painfully. We applaud the Egyptian government for taking steps to streamline procedures for building and renovating Christian houses of worship, and we call on the Egyptian government to continue making this process equitable for all. We appreciate your perseverance and tireless advocacy. Despite slow progress, we're determined to work alongside you, to speak truth in the face of oppression and advance the cause of peace, liberty, and human dignity in Egypt and all countries across the globe. It's an honor to have this fruitful discussion and to raise awareness. Thank you for your courage and your courage to share your stories and the stories of others whose voices are far away. Thank you.